Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today I'm bringing you another episode of Matt Rants. And before we talk about the topic of the episode and the question of the episode, I want to mention where I've been, because I'm sure as you guys can tell, long and new subscribers alike could see that I haven't released a video on this channel for the last 5 days of any type, and the reason why is because I was on an all-expenses-paid depression vacation. That's right, depression vacation. I hope you don't have to go on one. But if you do experience that kind of burnout like I have, then I hope that you guys can try your best to stay mentally healthy. Take a breather. If you have to take a break, that's okay. I ended up taking one unknowingly. It just kind of came upon me due to work and just general depression vacation. But I'm back, and I should be ready to go with some more news stories. So let's talk about this one, because we have to ask the question, is GOG's tweet transphobic? Now, what tweet in question? Maybe you guys haven't heard the news. Well, let's read the tweet, talk a little bit about the context, both with GOG in the past, or at least GOG's potential GOG's social media manager, and whoever that may be, because we don't have a name, and also some stuff that's going on outside of gaming in the political realm, but not going too far into politics. We don't really do that here on this channel, but either way, let's talk about the tweet itself. So the tweet that has since been deleted, but we do have a screenshot, and that will be posted in the description box down below. It says, "Classic PC games, hashtag won't be erased on our watch." Yeah. How's that for some use of hashtags? That was in this tweet. That wasn't me saying that, making some somewhat witty commentary. That was in the tweet itself. So again, reading it again. "Classic PC games, hashtag won't be erased on our watch." Yeah, how's that for some use of hashtags? So if you're wondering what is the won't be erased thing, what's that about exactly? Well, recently there was a leaked memo. This memo was actually written up in the spring. It was released, however, this past weekend, and it basically had it was from the Trump administration, not the leak necessarily. A different news organization posted it. I believe it was the Wall Street Journal, though don't quote me on that exactly, but I will look that up as we're talking about it. But the point is, though, is that this leak did occur, and it was the Trump administration was talking about in the leak, trying to legally say that trans people do not exist. So do not exist in the sense that you are either legally the definitions of gender and sex would be the same, and that male and female would be the only two genders / sexes, essentially erasing people who are transgender. And another thing as well is not just erasing people who are transgender, but also anti-discrimination laws, in theory, erasing those laws for people who are transgender. So I'm not going to go any more into that. Obviously, I do think that that's a strange thing to do, because we can see trans people. They exist. This isn't some kind of belief system. You can say hi to your local trans person. You might know someone who's trans. I do know people that are trans. So it's very strange, very odd, a very poor decision in my opinion, because again, you see people who are trans. You know, you can look at the data and see that there are a lot of deaths in the trans community, and that's not even referring to suicides. It's referring to people who have been murdered for being trans. I just don't understand why that would even be on the docket. There's so many other things that Trump could be doing, but again, not even going to delve too much into that, because again, we don't talk about the politics of things, but on this channel. However, I just wanted to mention that in context with this tweet, because again, the tweet is using the hashtag won't be erased, which is a hashtag that has been used by those who are in the trans community, those who are in the LGBTQ plus community, and those who are allies of the LGBTQ plus community, to basically say, hey, these trans folk will not be erased. So with that being a trending hashtag, we then have the GOG.com, their official Twitter account, which I should also mention if you don't know what GOG.com is. Basically, GOG.com is another type of Steam service. However, many people like it over Steam due to the fact that there's not any DRM use, and it seems like they do have a different method of filtering out games and things like that. So there might be a better curation of games on GOG.com. And again, no DRM is, a lot of gamers really do enjoy that because of the fact that even if you own the game, if the DRM company goes out of business, which has happened before, you could lose the rights that you have for playing the game. You might actually have to use a patch to play that game, even if you've purchased it 100% legally. So many people do enjoy GOG. GOG, I've heard, has not been doing as well recently, but still, people enjoy it for those reasons over Steam. Now, the reason why I said that there might be an issue with a social media manager here, and that this might be a recurring thing, if not with the same manager in the same company, is for this reason alone. So, GOG.com is actually a subsidiary of CD Projekt Red. Now, if you don't know, CD Projekt Red released Cyberpunk 2077. And here's where things get kind of interesting. So this is an older tweet. I want to make sure I get the exact date correct here. Let's see right here. The exact date was, okay, so this was around August of 2018. And if you didn't hear about this tweet in particular, this was a tweet where someone tweeted, "I want more guys." And this was in reference to Cyberpunk 2077 tweet, because this was at the Twitter account at Cyberpunk Game, and because it had, the tweet was hashtag Gamescom starts at hashtag E3 ended dash checking Twitter. The screenshots of this in the article will also be in the description box down below. And Cyberpunk 2077 responded with, "Did you just assume their gender?" Which, on the surface, it's one of those things where it sounds like, oh, it's just some joke. Why does anyone care? That's what I'm sure some of you listening to this right now are thinking. The thing is, though, the reason why this turns into some kind of pattern, if you will, some potential transphobia pattern, is because that joke is used, if you don't know, in context. The context usually is in response to people making jokes about the transgender community, about people identifying as different genders outside of their biological sex. And it's used usually in response with, the phrase that, "Oh, did you assume my gender?" Or I identify as an attack helicopter, as a paperclip, or something like that. And another thing to mention as well, in both of these situations, these are not jokes told amongst people who are in the community, people who are, are making those jokes around friends of theirs who could then maybe make jokes towards them about, their minority status of some kind, or their culture. It's not about that at all, because this is a company Twitter account. So this is a company Twitter, both were company Twitter accounts, of course, but in this case, we're looking at Cyberpunk 2077. This is a company that is just tweeting out this joke that is, again, in context. I don't know what context it wouldn't necessarily be anti-trans, because even if you're just saying that it's a joke, this isn't a comedy stage. This isn't friends having some type of not so witty banter back and forth. This is a company that is trying to put out a product for everyone to play. I don't understand why you would want to put down a part of your community that would want to buy the game. Now, the tweet was removed. This is, again, referring to the Cyberpunk 2077 one that was in August. It was removed, and then they issued an apology. Specifically, I want to make sure it was the CEO of Project Red, of CD Projekt Red, had mentioned, and I want to get his exact quote here. This article, by the way, is by Kotaku, and they asked GOG's head of global communications, Lukasz Kukowski. I got that right. That's great for me. Lukasz Kukowski, about their vetting process for social media managers. And Kukowski said that there is no process per se. We're working closely in the team, and usually if there are any doubts regarding communication, we simply talk about it. Unfortunately, some things slip unnoticed, like in this case. Mistakes happen. We'll just make sure they don't repeat. Well, clearly with the recent GOG tweet, that did not happen. And also something else as well, it's just very odd, the phrase, "there is no process per se." Who are you? Can I get the job? Like, what do you mean there's no process per se? Who can be your social media manager? Like that, I just made the joke. Oh, could I get the job? But I might. Can I just submit a resume that says I typed up the resume? Like, what do you mean there's no process per se? And I know that might seem like nitpicking, but I'm genuinely curious though. I don't have any experience in social media management. I mean, if you want to argue me doing the social media for our YouTube channel and things like that, our multiple YouTube channels, sure, but I've never done it for a major company, but there is no process per se. So literally, can I apply? Can anyone apply? But putting that aside for a second, even if you want to argue that this is not a transphobic tweet, this is just a joke gone awry, and a joke doesn't. If you call it a joke, then that means, oh, I'm in the clear no matter what. I don't exactly necessarily agree with you're in the clear no matter what, but again, let's say we're going by that argument, oh, it's just a joke, it wasn't meant to be offensive towards the community. Well, first things first, intent doesn't always equal impact. But you know what, hey, we'll take that argument, we can even throw it away. I'll even throw it away just for the sake of the argument of, oh, it's just a joke. The thing is, though, is that not only did I mention it's not a joke between friends earlier, it's a joke by a major corporation on the social media account. However, recently there have been praises for different social media accounts really interacting with not necessarily their fan bases, but in some cases either nerd culture, in the case of Arby's, really getting into all of their anime references and fun stuff, and video game references and fun stuff like that. I really enjoyed Arby's social media posts and how they recreate things like that with food. Or in the case of Sonic the Hedgehog, shitting on a bunch of taking the piss on not only Mega Man but Mighty Number 9 and other companies as well. And also, of course, all of us know about Wendy's. But here's the thing, though, and here's where I think certain companies are getting the social media manager thing wrong, and horribly wrong, definitely in this case. When it comes to Wendy's, and when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, God, that's a fucking weird sentence. And I'm going to leave Arby's out just for a second. Because I don't think Arby's has ever actually shit on another company via their social media picture posts. Though they may have, but I don't remember. So when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog and Wendy's, Jesus Christ, that's a sentence that I'm still shocked that I can say them both in the same sentence. Anyway, when it comes to them, they focus on other $1 billion $1 billion to shit on. So even though fans might be involved in some way, if a fan says, oh, what happens if I eat a McDonald's burger in a Wendy's parking lot, I remember Wendy's actually responded to that tweet with, it would increase the value of that burger. Or if it was, I think it might have been the reverse, what happens if I eat a Wendy's burger in a McDonald's parking lot, and then they said you'd increase the value of the lot. So, yes, it's replying to a fan, but it's specifically shitting on another corporation, and that's fun. It's fun to see corporations duke it out. It's like looking at a Godzilla versus a Mechagodzilla or something along those lines, or Godzilla versus King Kong, or two mechas duel it out. You are looking at two major corporations. It's not fun to see Godzilla trample a human being. It's just not fun. So when you look at two major corporations duking it out, that is enjoyable. But when you see a situation like, I believe this was last year, maybe even the year before, when GameStop, people were asking GameStop jokingly, oh, you have any free Nintendo Switches? And GameStop said, no, get a job. It's like, that's not a joke. What are you doing? Like, no, but like, really though, what are you doing, GameStop? Did you, like, what, am I supposed to be like, oh yes, that person should get a job? No, you're just being a jerk, and it's not, it's not funny, it's just dumb. And in this case, even if you disagree with it being transphobic, and you say, no, but it's a joke that was, poorly timed or something like that. So then still, it's just, because I feel like at the very least we could agree that this was a dumb quote unquote joke or attempt of humor. I don't know why, like, this is not funny. What is this? Like, what is this supposed to be? Because that's the thing too. If you want to say no, but it's not necessarily a joke. But all jokes aside though, like, what is it though? Like, is this, because it's not commentary, it's not solidarity, it's if you don't want to say it's transphobic, but what is this tweet? Again, classic PC games hashtag won't be erased on our watch. Yeah, how's that for some use of hashtags? What? I just can't, like, the gears stop at that point in my brain, which some people have said I should get that checked out because I shouldn't have gears in there. That's not how that works. But they just stop, and I feel like you got to get like a clock repaired or something. Like, I just don't. There's some major malfunction. And also, as well, while this tweet was deleted, so we don't know how much traction it would have gotten, it's just a thing where even if looking at the people who commented, there were 3 comments. Again, I can't see what they are because the tweet was deleted. 17 likes. Is that enough likes? If you want to consider this a joke, is that enough likes to piss off a community of gamers? Is it though? Like, is it though, to get that kind of bad press and piss off a community of gamers? Like, again, it just doesn't register in my head as, you know, as a good idea. Even if you were going to say, oh, but, you know, you could, even if you were to try to find different ways of excusing this, but it's dumb though. That's the thing. I feel like we could at least agree on that, everyone out there. This was not a smart decision in any way, shape, or form. So before we wrap this up and I answer this question, which I'm sure many of you out there know which way I'm going to answer the question, but, you know, before we get to that, though, there's one thing that I do want to say. So let's say you're out there and you're thinking, you know what, this is transphobic, Matt, and frankly, I don't care. You're sitting there, you're thinking, this is transphobic, I don't care. Frankly, you like the fact that it is offensive, and you like the fact that it is anti-PC, and you support what the Trump administration is doing, due to the fact that you think that being PC has gone too far, and you also believe the fact that transgender people either don't exist or you don't want them to exist or whatever it might be. There's one thing that I want to mention, and it's this fact right here. So PC means, if you don't know, which I'm sure you do, because if you're against it, I'm sure you know the definition, politically correct. And you're against things being politically correct. You don't want those in power defining what is politically correct. And in this case, I hear you, brother. I do. I get it. You don't want those in power defining what is politically correct. And that is exactly why you should be against what the Trump administration is allegedly trying to do due to this leaked memo. And I hope that you come out in support of transgender people. Because at this point, when you have the Republicans in charge in terms of Donald Trump, and also in charge of the House and the Senate, you know, I feel as if, you know, I'm right there with you, and that I am against the idea of being PC. So I think I just want to leave that there. Again, don't like to get too much into politics. This is about gaming, and I'm sure some of you guys out there that are thinking, why you don't want us to delve into politics, this channel in general. I agree. I just like to keep it in gaming, but again, this was very relevant to gaming, so that's why I brought it up. And I hope that you can stand with me in this case, in this situation, against being politically correct and against politics being brought into games, because I know that many of you out there probably don't want politics being brought into your video games. And looking at this right here, this tweet that I've been talking about the entire episode that you guys have been listening to from GOG.com, bringing in the hashtag won't be erased, a political issue. An issue that I don't know if necessarily I would call it political because it's about people existing, but because the Trump administration is involved, it does technically become political. This political issue being brought into your video games. Why can't GOG.com just be about releasing some video games? So you know what? I'll agree with you guys there, as long as you agree with me there. So now answering the question, do I believe this tweet was transphobic? Yes, I do. Now some of you guys out there are probably thinking, so you think that the person that's tweeting this is transphobic? Maybe not. Maybe the person did not mean to tweet something transphobic, is not here enjoying and reveling in the pain of those that are transgender. But I mentioned this way earlier. I mentioned the idea that intent does not equal impact. And it is something that many of us will have to remember in our daily lives, outside of YouTube, outside of politics. It's just a general term that all of us are going to have to remember if we want relationships to succeed in some way or another. Intent does not equal impact. So you might sit there and think, but I'm the nicest person ever. I didn't mean to hurt that person, but you did. You have to find out why, and you have to realize that your intent did not equal the impact. And that does matter, especially in this case. So the tweet is transphobic. I don't know the person behind this tweet. I don't know the social media manager. I'm not sitting here saying that the entirety of GOG.com is transphobic or CD Projekt Red. However, there is a pattern, and it is concerning that this has happened before. And you wonder, it's bad if it's the same person and they've been shuffled around, but it's also bad if multiple people are making tweets like this and thinking that they're A-okay. So I don't know which one is better or worse. Either way, as we're wrapping this up, I want to hear what you guys think. You guys, by the way, can totally disagree with me down in the comment section down below. You could say that this wasn't transphobic. That's okay. I just want us all to be very chill about it. I want us all to be talking to each other nicely about it. And I don't want us to be throwing any insults at each other, because I don't think that's going to help this conversation move forward in any way. So if you agree with me, comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. If you disagree with me, again, you can comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't necessarily want to get into the political aspect with Trump, with the administration, with that leak. But when it comes to this tweet, when it comes to GOG.com, heck, when it comes to Steam too, if you want to talk about that DRM stuff as well, it's arguably slightly off topic, but I did mention it. So again, you can comment that down below. We can talk about social media managers down below and stuff like that. Anything regarding the video other than the political stuff, I would love to talk to you guys down below, because again, this channel is not political, so I don't want to go, I don't want the entire comment section to delve into political ideology and things like that. But either way though, if you guys liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. If you guys didn't like the video, you can still like and subscribe anyway, regardless. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much. Love you all. Take care, and tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. Alright, guys, so see ya.